Hey everyone. Okay, so Shiba Inu coin. Lots of buzz around it, right? You want to know if it's the real deal or just hype?
Well, you've come to the right place. We're diving deep today.
Yeah, we're taking a look at a performance update that came out literally like today, January 7, 2025.
And it's a pretty interesting time for this because, the crypto market's in a correction right now, kind of shaky.
Yeah, a little bit of a dip.
But even with all that, Shiba Inu, or Shib, as you'll hear people call it, it's holding its own.
It is. So the update has it at 0.000002225.
Right.
Just a little lower than yesterday. But okay, here's where things get interesting, right?
Yeah.
We go past the "is it just a meme coin" question and look at what the analysts are saying.
And they're saying some pretty wild stuff. Changely, for example, thinks Shib could jump almost 70% by tomorrow.
Tomorrow, wow, that's a big jump.
Is. And then you've got Coin Codex, who are even more bullish. They're predicting it could double, hit $0.00006 in just the next 5 days.
Okay, hold on. I need to process this for a second. So, are these analysts just like hyping things up? Or is there something real behind these predictions?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
And like with anything you invest in, there are no guarantees, right?
Right.
But these guys, they're not just pulling numbers out of thin air.
Yeah.
They're looking at trends. They're looking at the tech behind Shib, even the whole vibe of the community.
Okay. So it's not just riding the meme wave.
It seems like there's more to it.
There's substance.
Yeah. Let's dig into some of the specifics from the update, like those technical indicators.
Okay.
Right now, 58% of the signals for Shib are what they call bullish, meaning there's a lot of buying going on.
People want in.
People want in, exactly. And then there's that fear and greed index. I always find that one interesting.
Yeah.
For Shib, it's sitting at 76.
Which the update calls extreme greed, right? What does that even mean?
So picture like a room full of investors. Everyone's like super hype, throwing money around, convinced they're going to get rich quick. That's extreme greed. And high confidence can push prices up, but it also, can lead to some pretty big drops if things turn.
So it's risky, but potentially big reward.
High risk, high reward. It's a tightrope walk.
So what is it about Shib that's fueling all this confidence? The update mentions a few things. Shibarium, for one.
Right.
Okay, break that down for me. What is Shibarium? Sounds kind of mysterious.
It kind of is. It's what's called the layer 2 scaling solution, which, sounds very technical.
It does.
But basically, think of it as an upgrade that makes everything on the Shiba Inu network way faster, cheaper, smoother.
Like taking a bumpy dirt road and paving it.
Exactly. Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And that's huge for attracting more users, more developers, especially in the DeFi space.
Yeah.
Where speed and low costs are everything.
Makes sense. So Shibarium is making Shib, more user-friendly, opening up more possibilities.
Yeah.
What else is pushing things forward?
Well, the update also talks about this thing called the token burn mechanism. Basically, millions of Shib tokens are being, permanently destroyed.
Wait, destroyed? Just
Gone. Gone. And theoretically, that reduces the supply, which could bump up the value of what's left. Kind of like a limited edition thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Scarcity, right.
Exactly.
But then we can't forget about, the Shib Army. These guys are everywhere online.
Oh, yeah. They're super passionate.
Yeah.
They're like a decentralized marketing team, constantly promoting Shib, creating content, building that hype.
So it's not just about the tech behind it. It's about the people who are so into it.
Exactly. It's a great example of how a dedicated community can really impact a cryptocurrency. And it's not just the, meme coin fans who are interested. The update mentions that even big institutional investors are starting to look beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're eyeing up altcoins like Shib.
So Shib is getting taken seriously by the big players.
It seems to be.
Okay, so we've got the tech advancements, we've got the dedicated community, we've got interest from big investors. Sounds promising. But I'm guessing there are some downsides we need to consider. Right?
Oh, absolutely. No investment is without risk. And we'll get into some of those potential pitfalls after a quick break.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we've talked about all this potential for gains, but let's be real for a second.
Right.
There's got to be some risks, too.
Oh, absolutely. No investment is a sure thing.
Right.
And especially in the crypto world, it's notoriously volatile.
Yeah. Earlier, we were talking about extreme greed on that fear and greed index.
Right.
That sounds kind of scary, to be honest. What's the worst case scenario there if things get too out of hand?
Well, imagine this. She keeps going up and up and up, purely driven by hype and speculation.
Yeah.
Everyone's piling in, thinking they're going to get rich quick. But then something happens. Maybe a big investor decides to sell off a bunch.
Yeah.
Or some bad news comes out. And suddenly everyone's trying to get out at the same time. Oh, yikes. So those gains could vanish just as fast as they came.
That's the risk, yeah.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with something that swings up and down so quickly.
It's exciting on the way up,
Right.
but maybe not so much on the way down.
Not so much. Okay.
Yeah.
You also mentioned regulatory uncertainty earlier.
Yeah.
What's the big worry there?
Well, governments around the world, they're still kind of figuring out this whole crypto thing, right?
Right.
And the rules, they could be totally different depending on where you are.
Oh, okay. So for someone who puts money into Shib, what could that actually look like?
Well, imagine like you buy a bunch of Shib
Yeah.
and then your country decides, nope, this is banned.
Oh, wow.
Or they slap on a ton of regulations that make it really hard to, buy, sell, trade.
That would be that'd be bad.
Yeah. And that's the thing about regulatory uncertainty.
Yeah.
It's just this big unknown hanging over everything. Until things settle down, it's a risk investors have to consider.
Definitely. And then there's the whole meme coin thing, right?
Mhm.
I mean, Shib, it started as a joke.
Right. It did, but now it's trying to be taken seriously. So can it actually shake off that image?
Yeah.
And, compete with the established players?
That's the big question, yeah. The crypto space is getting crowded all the time.
Yeah.
There's always a new meme coin popping up.
Right.
Shib has to show it's more than just a trend, a fad.
So what would it take for Shib to really solidify its position?
Innovation, I think, is
Okay.
key.
Okay.
It's not enough to just ride that initial wave of popularity.
Yeah.
Shib's got to keep evolving, showing that it has real uses, real utility. The update talks about Shibarium, the token burn, those partnerships.
Okay.
Those are all, positive signs.
Right. Those did seem pretty promising, making things faster, cheaper with Shibarium. The token burn, making it more scarce, and those partnerships opening up new possibilities.
Exactly. Shibarium especially, I think, is interesting.
Yeah.
Because it opens up that whole world of decentralized finance.
Yeah.
And those DeFi applications, they need speed, they need low costs.
Right,
That's
yeah.
how they'll really take off.
Right. And the partnerships could help with wider acceptance, bringing in new users.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the key is, execution. Shib has to actually deliver on all this.
Yeah.
They got to keep innovating, stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Because this is a fast-moving market.
So it's not just about the tech. It's about having a clear vision, a plan.
It is. It's kind of like a startup in a way.
Yeah.
It needs the talent. It needs the community support. And, a little bit of luck never hurts.
Definitely. Okay, so if someone's thinking about investing in Shib, what should they be looking out for? What are the signs?
Keep an eye on those key developments we've talked about.
Yeah.
The adoption of Shibarium, how effective the token burn is, how those partnerships are panning out.
Right.
And, of course, any news on the regulatory side, that's a big one.
Right. So it's not just about hoping for the best.
No.
It's about staying informed, watching how things unfold.
Absolutely. Understanding the potential upside,
Yeah.
but being realistic about the risks as well.
Okay. So we've covered the tech side, the market forces. But there's another piece of this we haven't really dug into yet, the Shib Army.
Right.
This community, their passion is incredible. They seem to be a big driver behind all of this. So let's talk about them next.
Okay, so we've talked about the tech, the markets, the whole landscape. But what about the people? The Shib Army, they're a force, right? All over social media.
They're not just passive fans. It's more like a movement,
Yeah.
They're constantly spreading the word about Shib, creating memes, running campaigns online. Some are even launching their own NFT projects. It's pretty wild.
It's like what every company draws of, right?
Yeah.
A marketing team that's just built in. And they're doing it because they believe in it.
Exactly. That kind of passion is gold. And it creates this snowball effect. More people join, it gets more attention, more influence.
So it's not just the numbers, the tech specs. It's about the people who buy into it. It really is. Shib going from meme coin to, maybe a serious player, it shows you what a community can do. They've built a whole ecosystem around this thing, and it's growing all the time.
Okay, but, got to play devil's advocate for a second. We've seen how these online communities, they can get a little carried away sometimes. The hype can be a lot.
Oh, for sure. Passion's great, but it can lead to blind spots. If the community gets too, closed off, they might miss some warning signs
Right.
or not want to hear any criticism, even if it's valid.
So you need to balance that enthusiasm with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Yeah, be informed, do your own research.
Yeah.
Don't just blindly follow the crowd.
Okay, so for someone listening who's intrigued by Shib, but maybe a bit intimidated by how intense the Shib Army can be, any advice.
Honestly. Don't be afraid to engage with them. Ask questions. Learn from what they've seen. But also, push back a little.
Don't just, accept everything they say.
Exactly. Think for yourself. Look for different opinions out there.
Mhm.
A strong community, it can handle a little debate, right?
Yeah, right. Encourages it, even.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like with Sheeb, you're not just putting money into a token, you're kind of joining a whole movement.
It is, kind of.
Mm.
But like any movement, you got to be aware of what could go wrong, too.
Right. Make smart decisions. Don't just get swept up in the hype.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Whoa, wow. We've covered a lot today. Tech, market, the community, the good, the bad. That was a whirlwind.
Sheep is fascinating, though, isn't it?
It is. It's started as a meme, but now who knows where it'll go.
Right. Makes you think about what can happen when a community gets behind an idea, even if it starts small. Seems a little silly at first.
Absolutely. To everyone listening, keep watching Sheeb. This story's definitely not over. Who knows what surprises are coming next? This has been your deep dive into Shiba Inu coin. Stay curious out there.